I wanted to show you this because Walensky went and lied in front of Congress again. And I just want to remind people of the lies that they told.
There is a clear message that is coming through. This is becoming a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
And we're seeing it in the data. Unvaccinated Americans account for virtually all recent COVID-19 hospitalizations and deaths.
So they're lying. So that was always a lie.
That rehearsed saying that they all repeated. You're telling me that was not from their heart?
So watch. So the CDC director was asked about this because at the time they were saying this, they were lying and they knew it. And so let's just watch.
On June 21, 2021, President Biden stated, quote, "If you are vaccinated, you're not going to be hospitalized. You are not going to be in the intensive care unit. You are not going to die," end quote. Again, simply yes or no. By that date, were there vaccinated Americans that were hospitalized?
What I can tell you is at the time, CDC was releasing increasing data showing the immense protection of vaccines against severe disease, hospitalization, and death.
But by that date, were there vaccinated Americans that were hospitalized?
Maybe I will say this. We still, to this day, do not have data on people who are coming into the hospitals who are vaccinated. That is a data point that we have lacked.
Whoa. I like how she answered that. Well, maybe I'll say this. Maybe I'll give you that. So if that doesn't enrage you, I don't know what's wrong with you, because that's the CDC director smirking, being glib while being questioned by the people's representative in Congress. And she's lying.
Well, Jimmy, as you know, I'm a diehard glibberal myself. And I would rather, you have to understand, when you're a diehard glibberal, I spend all my time campaigning for Joe Biden's reelection on every facet of everything. So if I said anything that could potentially damage, the greater good is make sure Trump's not back, not anything with your health.
But what she couldn't even answer a straight question. The straight question is, did you, well, here it is again.
On June 21, 2021, President Biden stated, quote, "If you are vaccinated, you're not going to be hospitalized. You are not going to be in the intensive care unit. You are not going to die," end quote. Again.
That was a lie. That was always a lie. And I just showed you video of her saying that lie. And now his direct question is,
simply yes or no. By that date, were there vaccinated Americans that were hospitalized?
Were there vaccinated Americans that were hospitalized? Seems like a yes or no question. Here's what she says.
What I can tell you is at the time, CDC was releasing increasing data showing the immense protection of vaccines against severe.
She just answered a different question. That's not the question. The question wasn't, did you guys release data that said the vaccine saved a lot of lives? The question was, were there people hospitalized who were vaccinated at the time of that statement? So when you kept running around saying it was the pandemic of the unvaccinated, that was a lie. That's what's going on here. And she first just blatantly doesn't answer the question. She says that, which wasn't the question. Here it is. What?
You know what it is also? The Rachel Maddow defense of like,
yeah,
of course no one thought it was definitely going to work just because we said it. That's a sparkly story.
Right.
We just said anything to get you to take
That's right.
Disease, hospitalization, and death.
But by that date, were there vaccinated Americans that were hospitalized?
Were there vaccinated Americans that were hospitalized? You're the head of the CDC. I know you have this data. They ask everybody. Here we go.
Maybe I will say this. We still, to this day, do not have data on people who are coming into the hospitals who are vaccinated. That is a data point that we have lacked.
That's a lie. You do not lack that data point. You might have erased that data point, but don't act like you guys haven't collected that data point. So here's what this is such a blatant lie. I had to have a few stitches on my hand from woodworking. The first question. asked by the hospital was if I was vaccinated. You know damn well they were collecting the data, but stopped reporting it when it didn't align with their narrative.
They
we're seeing it. There's no data, Kurt. I don't know if you know that. Maybe we'll have those data points in 75 years.
Yeah.
But don't we all look better on camera now? Why wait till... Meanwhile, let's all go have some mimosas and laugh at the pores, shall we?
Yeah, and maybe get another booster while we're at it. Wear a mask and so forth.
We're definitely going to see the data someday. But she's saying there isn't that data.
Well, they ask it, and then I guess they don't write it down when you tell them.
Right.
They're just asking, making small talk.
Has it become so stigmatized that we all got to double talk like we're part of a special access program to hide UFOs for every goddamn topic that there is? Well, what I say is we don't have the data.
Maybe what I'll say.
Maybe what I'll say is we don't have the data. Maybe I'll say this. What kind of... I don't have the balls to answer a question like that in front of Congress.
Well, I don't either, but I never made $40 billion for Big Pharma myself, so I don't feel the kind of, protection.
So what she's saying, Kurt, is that people went in and they were dying of COVID. And the doctor asked, well, did you get vaccinated? And when the patient sometimes said yes, the doctor said, no shit, and then just forgot about it.
Wow, you hear something new every day. How about that? He went, how about that?
You're sick of COVID and dying from it, and you tell me you're vaccinated. Isn't that an interesting tidbit? I wonder if someone's writing that down somewhere.
Well, I'm getting off topic. Let's get back to your COVID.
Yeah, let's get back to your COVID. Here's interesting. This is from October of 2021.
It's really important. Obviously, this issue of maintaining immunity. I think we've not seen the urgency that we need to see, and particularly the vulnerable, to get them re-immunized. I hear a lot of times people feel it's a rare event that fully vaccinated people may die. I happen to be the senior advisor to Governor Hogan in the state of Maryland. In the last 6 to 8 weeks, more than 40% of the people that died in Maryland were fully vaccinated.
What's that? He's saying this to tell you to get a booster too, by the way. He's not saying this against the vaccine.
He's not saying this against
the safe, effective vaccine that I support.
That's right.
He's just saying get a boost. She could have said that. Well, if you don't get boosted, we told you to get boosted. She didn't even say that.
She didn't even say that. She said we don't even know.
We don't have the data.
We don't have that data.
Does she not know this guy?
So why do you think they don't have that data? A, they have that data. B, she's lying that they don't have that data because that data would not support their narrative about the vaccines. That's why she's lying. You hear what that guy just said? That was the former head of the CDC. And he was saying that 40% of the people he saw dying were vaccinated.
Colin Powell died of fully vaccinated.
And that's from October of 2021. Here we are in June of 2023, almost 2 years later. And that CDC director is giving that bullshit answer to Congress. That doesn't enrage you? None of my comedian friends. Still not one question about. They're such cowards. They're such cowards, Kurt. Not one question. You go in to watch them do comedy now. All those people who are wagging their finger at you for not wanting to get vaccinated, for having questions about lockdowns and masks and COVID. But those comedians, they're all doing jokes about dating now. I'm not kidding.
What's done is done, Jimmy. Move on. I believe a German man said that at the Nuremberg trials. I believe a great German once said, what's done is done.
Where are all those comedians with all those goddamn great COVID jokes about piss shitting on people for trying to get informed? And now you see them do comedy and they're talking about dating.
Well, now we luckily masked our way out of the pandemic so we can date again.
Anyway, so there you go. And I'm saying that the vaccine is safe and effective, Kurt. You
I'm
know
mad
that.
at her for not saying, well, yeah, you got to get a booster.
Of course.
Because that's an easy, correct response to a simple question that I would have said as a person that fully supports vaccine, not some anti-vax loon.
So if Trump gets indicted for moving documents. Why isn't she indicted for not having that data that they have?
Because she did her job.
Yes. Wanda Sykes famously said that when you go to the dentist, they ask you if you had an abortion.
They do?
But all the vaccine shit went into recycling somehow.
Wait.
Wanda Sykes said that.
A dentist never asked me if I had an abortion. Never even asked my gender either.
Never even asked my gender.
They don't say that to dentists, do they?
I've never had.
That's if you're getting like put under anesthesia or something.
So they got every piece of data on you, Kurt. Right? They track us.
Right.
They watch. They know what kind of socks I want to buy.
They've been watching me jack off for the last 20 years.
They listen in on all your phone conversations, your texts. They monitor our thermostats. They know which corporate puppet we're watching on late night. But somehow our medical information disappears. Oopsie daisy. The medical information that doesn't support their narrative of COVID, somehow it just disappears.
Oh, well, maybe China has it. That's what I'm worried about.
Maybe
Maybe they got it with that balloon.
Okay. But of course, the vaccine is safe and effective.
Yeah.
It saved millions of lives, keeps you from becoming seriously ill or
It
hospitalized.
slowed the spread of Colin Powell dying of it.
Slowed the spread of Colin Powell. He would have died faster.
Colin Powell would have spread faster.
All those people who died of COVID after vaccinations, they would have died faster.
Look, the point of the vaccine was not to keep you from dying. I know people selfishly want to think that. It was to vaccinate hospitals against you clogging them up with your poor people bullshit.
Can you imagine if you got the polio vaccine, 3 of them, and then you got polio and died? Can you imagine that?
I believe that happened to the very first people who got the,
I know, because it was a bad batch.
They actually made a bad batch.
Yeah.
That was the birth. Why would anybody not hesitate about vaccines? It's a miracle thing. It's because the very first batch, not the drug, the invention's great.
Yeah.
The company that made it accidentally put a live virus in.
Yeah.
And created a little bit of distrust. And ever since then, that's what we got. And I learned that from somebody trying to debunk Trump rushing a vaccine. Not a Trump site.
Right.
That's the thing because, the other thing, okay, that doesn't shock me. The fact the guy writing it, who I think we've shown on here later talking about how only an asshole would be anti-vax, he was at the time to criticize Trump for warp speed.
Yeah, he was saying that we should be
there's
cautious.
A reason some people are
cautious.
That was the most shocking part of the article.
Well, when Trump was developing the COVID vaccine under warp speed,
it was bad.
Kamala Harris said she wasn't going to take it. Joe Biden said he would wait to hear from all the experts.
It's got to be transparent, he said.
Yeah, it's got to be transparent. It was never transparent. They didn't release the data they still haven't released all the data.
Well, it's a pandemic.
That's
the excuse for not releasing the JFK stuff. It's a pandemic.
I don't know if I'll ever get over my rage at my comedian friends over COVID.
Well, Jimmy, I don't want to sound like your mom, but they probably weren't really your friends.
Hey, come see us live on tour. Be in Bakersfield, Baltimore, San Francisco, Huntington Beach, Rosemont, and Chicago, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, New York City, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Stamford, Connecticut, and more.
Hey,
Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.